Hey everybody. So in the last video, I just sort of demonstrated debugging using the debugger to try to figure out some issues that didn't get caught by the transpiler. And the reason it didn't get caught by the transpiler is because I had to use any's because trying to understand how all the ThreeJS objects sort of overlap with each other so that I can make animations consistent. So like animating meshes, the camera, the light, and the scene. Being able to not have like separate animation code for all three of them, I wanted to sort of unite them into one. But when I did that, it made it very difficult for the 3JS for me to sort of mentally grasp how the 3JS objects overlap. So I ended up creating any's, and so then that I lost the TypeScript protection, but I still had the good old console log to catch things. So while I was doing that, I just was looking at the drop down, and it was like, let me go into my scene and animate that. Um, so I was looking at the drop down, and it was like BG red, and I was like, hey, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense because like the only color that you can animate on the scenes is red, is the background. But on lights, they don't have a background, but they do have a color. And then on meshes, they don't have a background either, but they do have a color. So do I really want to have multiple reds? There's the red background and the red not background. I feel like the right move at this point would be to sort of unify those, but that could be a mistake. But so that kicked off a some right after I got off the live or the video, some a refactor where I refactored this away from BG red color in favor of red color. So it's a little bit less descriptive at the scene level, but yeah, what else is going to be red? So I think it makes sense to refactor it. I don't know that the BG is offering any uh any value, and then that would mean that in my interface I can also call those red color for meshes and lights. So that kicked off a bunch of changes throughout the application. Let's see if I could just cherry pick those out. Now that wasn't in there. Yeah, so in the service for I believe this is the when you initially create a scene item, it has to be changed. It's going to have to be done for the green and the blue as well. I don't think, yeah, this I already looked at. I don't think there was anything in there. Oh yeah, no, actually up here I had to change that. And then in this animated items, I changed it from BG red to red, so that's what we see right here. And then I don't think there was anything in this animation properties. Um, there's a couple of lines added down here, and I don't think they're related to the refactor. No. And then because they're completely new. And then inside of the scene manager itself, I needed to accommodate the new name. The other big change would be to get rid of the console logs. Um, so like this, and then so basically the TypeScript, some of the TypeScript protections were actually re-added in, um, going backwards, to make the error go away. So basically here I had to add scene to the three object types that are allowed. And then, so we already went over scene interface. And then in the 3JS service down here, now these were just changes for the refactor. And then nothing in there, nothing in there. And then over here in the items component, all we had to do is modify that for the refactor. And then in the scene, all right, so then over in the animation properties, we added the scene. And then um, yeah, I think down here in the red color changer, yes, I had to do that. So, oh wow, I totally forgot to try to make a cool animation. So let's just call this, we'll call this block. just do something real quick, and then I'm going to turn my block into a Fong. So you can't see it because it is currently hidden because Fongs need light. So let's go ahead and add a light. Okay, so we're going to add our light, and I'm just going to add it main light. Okay, so you cannot see the light right now because it's inside of the box. So I'm going to bring it closer to us. So the camera right now is sitting at 5, so I'm going to bring it to 2. There we go. So and then I think I'm going to animate the mesh. So I think I have some weird defaults in animating the mesh, but let me just turn that on. Yeah, so I don't want it to actually move anywhere. So now I'm just going to come over here, and on the X position, I'm going to tell it to start and end at the same place, and Y position, same, and then Z position, same. So right now we have a bit of code that has been in there since the very beginning, and that just automatically does a rotate. That will be gone probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But so what we're watching is this block, and it's just rotating and staying in place, and it's got one light sitting a little bit before it. So I'm going to animate the light. I don't think I have any defaults in the light, but I'm going to animate it, and I'm going to control where the light is on the Z position. Oh, so what's happening right now is the Z, it's actually going into the box. So I'm going to leave it exactly in the same place on the Z axis, and then on the Y axis I'm going to have it go up and down. So I'm going to have it start at like -2 and end at 2. And then I think on the x-axis it's just sitting there. So basically the light is moving up and down right now. One thing you can do is you can add another mesh that is indicative of that is a light indicator. So I'm just going to call this one add mesh light mesh, and I'm going to turn that into a sphere, and then I'm going to make it 0.1, and then I'm going to animate it, and then I'm going to have it just match along with the light. So the actual light goes 0, 0, and then on Y it goes -2 and 2, and then along the Z it goes 2 and 2. So now that is a nice indicator showing exactly where the light is at any given time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the light's color to red. So that's the light's color is changing, but the mesh itself, I need to change that to red so that it matches up too. And there it is. I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, I'd forgotten to do a mesh, so that's that. It will be really cool it would have been very cool if I could have like animated these colors, so maybe it starts off as red and then becomes green or something. But I think this is cool as is, and or white to red would probably be really cool. Yeah, so this thing's coming along nicely. I think the next step is, so right now what happens is when I animate, okay, the scene is in fact animated, and if I look over here at red, I have the values now. Right now what should happen is if I turn this to, like, let's say 100, and then I go back to my scene, and then this should have been updated to 100. So I think that's the next thing I'm going to work on. It is a step in the process that I totally forgot about. every single one of these I've had to sort of get it working going one way and then get it working going the other way. So like, I don't even know if it works both ways. So let me try the first way. So let's say I turn the background to red and I go to animation and then, oh, I need to animate it and I make it animated and I go to animations and I go to the red. Yeah, so that one's working. So, but what I need it to do is now when I make this 100, that should that should inform the scene manager, and it should have actually changed it to red. So basically, changing it in the animator is not changing it back. So that's a step I missed. That's what I'm gonna work on next. I'm gonna basically commit this code and work on that, and I will make a video tomorrow about that. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.